Tonight, you open your eyes inside a multi-thousand-ton stone fortress. The glass of water by your bed has just cracked, freezing solid on the nightstand. Your breath turns into a white cloud so thick you could grab it. You touch the wall, it's as cold as metal left outside. If the fire dies midnight, will you live to see the dawn? Hold that question, because in just a few minutes you'll see why so many in medieval castles chose warmth over privacy, why they traded dignity for body heat, and why one small mistake with the hearth could cost you your life. Don't look away mid-video. We'll try to survive a real storm, with only the few logs left in the store. Let's start with the architecture. Castles were not born to pamper the body. They are war machines, thick stone, high ceilings, arrow slits. All these things accidentally turn them into massive 24/7 freezers. The stone absorbs the outside cold and radiates it inward, gnawing at you. High ceilings push any meager warmth to the top of the vault, while the stone floor sucks the heat from your feet like a bottomless well. Built on a high hill for defense? Perfect. But it's also an open invitation to the northeast wind. Wind shrieks through the loopholes like 1,000 steel razors. And because smoke needs an escape, the roof always has gaps, a perfect emergency exit for heat to flee. The result? You live in a house that breathes, but it only exhales sub-zero air. From here, every action is a desperate dance against the cold. When a storm hits, people migrate within their own fortress, crowding into the 1 or 2 rooms where a fire still burns. You dress like a giant onion. Linen inside, wool outside, wrapped in animal skin, topped with a cloak. And don't think a feast cloak is for show. It's survival gear. At a banquet, guests don't take off their coats. They keep their hoods up even while raising a toast. You'd see the breath of 100 people misting under the candlelight. The Great Hall is only a few degrees warmer than the outside. Don't shudder yet. Later, we'll run a test. With the same amount of wood, which saves your life, the open hearth or the tile stove. Now, follow Alice, a servant girl. The wind is tearing at the outer wall. Her first job isn't to bring hot wine, it's to build a fortress within the fortress. She pulls wool curtains as heavy as chainmail. The curtains don't just block drafts, they shrink the space. The principle is crude but effective. Shrink the volume and the temperature rises faster. She hangs a tapestry on the north wall, the coldest one. It traps a thin layer of dead air, enough to cut the bone-chilling cold radiating from the stone. The embroidery shows a deer hunt, but its real function is survival. Don't go anywhere, because in just a moment, that heat-eating wall will be tricked by a very dirty but brilliant hack. In the kitchen, servants heat river stones red hot, grab them with tongs, shove them into rough cloth bags, and slip them under the straw mattresses. Touching the bag, you'd hear a faint sizzle, the fabric scorching. Later, they used ceramic jugs or copper bottles filled with boiling water, more effective and less likely to set the bed on fire. A 2-liter jug could keep a corner of the bed warm for 2 to 3 hours. Tonight, Alice prepares 7 for her lady. But there's a deadly risk few talk about. Using peat or coal in a sealed space, the CO builds up and kills you in your sleep. You always pay a price. Want warmth? You crack a window. Crack a window, you accept the draft. You ask, why not just build a bigger fire? The courtyard is full of wood. In reality, it's not. A massive great hall with an open hearth can devour 1 to 1.5 cubic meters of wood in a single windy night, just to raise the temperature a few degrees near the fire. Wet wood is a disaster. More smoke, less heat, and black soot coating your lungs. And if you're under siege for 10 days, yesterday's full woodshed is suddenly empty. The steward then has to think like a general. How many bundles per room, in exchange for how many hours of life, for how many people? Don't relax. The real storm only hits at midnight. Some places found a brilliant solution. In Germany and Central Europe, the Kachelöfen, the tiled stove, was a savior. It's a gentle monster. The fire burns in a closed box. The smoke travels through a maze of channels inside the ceramic body. The heat is swallowed by the tiles and released slowly for hours. Compared to the open hearth, warm face, cold back with its 10-15% efficiency, the tile stove is many times more effective. It trades one bundle of wood for hours of warm walls, warm floors, and smoke-free air. So, why didn't everyone use them? They require technical skill to build flues into the walls, and a lot of money. Retrofitting an old castle was like performing open-heart surgery on a stone elephant. One mistake, and you choke the whole house on smoke. Let's do a quick comparison. The open hearth, beautiful, romantic, the flames dance, but step back 5 meters, the temperature plummets, and smoke stings your eyes. The tiled stove, less poetic, but the warmth is deep, even. The wall hot, like the flank of a sleeping beast. The mobile brazier, convenient, but clogs easily, like a tiny campfire in your house. What do you choose when you have one night's worth of fuel? The sexy flame to keep morale high, or the silent, ugly warmth to ensure you aren't crippled by morning? Answer fast. Alyssa just heard the wind change direction. It's not just about fire. The other dark art is dividing space. Don't try to heat the castle build rooms within rooms. They hung curtains, placed beds far from stone walls, used animal hides to cut the cold from the floor. A proper bed was a tent, a wooden frame, straw mattress, fur blankets, and thick curtains enclosing all 4 sides. Inside, 2 people slept. 3 people slept. Children slept sideways at their parents' feet. Servants slept on the floor around the master's bed, acting as a human heat shield. Everyone shared body heat. Don't blush, no one could afford the luxury of personal space on a negative 10 degrees Celsius night. You either huddled together, or you froze to death alone. The brutal truth lies in the dirty work. All summer, loggers cut and dried wood. In Scotland, they dug peat. It burned long, but the smoke was acrid. The rich, near mines, burned coal, intense heat, but also intense risk of suffocation. In some places, they even collected dried animal dung as backup fuel. It didn't smell good, but it saved lives. Fuel was the blood of winter. When the blood ran out, the castle wasn't just cold, it became vulnerable. Some dared to play games with architecture. They ran flues inside the walls, turning the wall itself into a giant radiator. They built dedicated warming rooms. They made double-layered doors. Of course, all of this cost a fortune, and not every lord had the cash to mod his stone monster. Now for the real-time battle. Second watch. Alyssa checks the tiled stove. The wood is now embers. She closes the flue. The ceramic tiles begin their slow tidal wave of warmth. She crosses to the great hall. The open hearth is roaring. 15 people huddle close, faces red, backs shaking. The quartermaster reports 7 dry bundles left, 12 damp. The storm won't break till noon. The choice: burn the open hearth to keep spirits high, or feed the dry wood to the tile stove to guarantee survival till morning. The right decision is the ugly one. Douse the pretty fire, herd everyone into the smaller room, seal the curtains, and push the tile stove to red hot. People grumble, but an hour later, the great hall is an icebox, while the small room with 9 people holds a bearable temperature. If it were you, what would you choose? Comment now. I choose the hearth, or I choose the stove. The final weapon: hot food and drink. Thick soup and mulled wine with cloves and honey, the first sip spreads down your gut like a low fire. Every 45 minutes, they passed hot drinks to those on watch. They even woke the sleepers for a small sip, just to keep their core temperature from dropping. This is how you manage the rhythm of survival. How cold did it actually get? Old records tell of water freezing in jugs indoors, of writing ink turning to paste. Modern experiments show, with negative 5 degrees Celsius outside, a roaring open hearth only keeps the area near the fire at 5-10 degrees Celsius. 10 meters away, the temperature drops back to near 0 degrees Celsius. The tile stove? It can keep a small room at 8-12 degrees Celsius for hours after the fire is out. Not paradise, but enough that your joints don't lock up when you try to stand. This hits our modern habits hard. In winter, a private bedroom was a fantasy. Servants slept at the foot of the master's bed. A husband and wife rarely had a fully private night. The choice was simple. Warmth meant huddling together. Privacy meant freezing. Everything has a price. Burn coal in a sealed room, long-lasting heat, high risk of suffocation. Open a window, fresh air, brutal draft. Hang tapestries, less cold, highly flammable. Winter was the art of balancing risk. In Carlaverock, Scotland, it was sea wind and acrid peat. In Bavaria, the tiled stove was the heart of the home. Every region had its own survival formula. Now back to Elise. Dawn is coming. At 3 a.m., she feeds the stove. The back of the ceramic wall is still as warm as sun-baked stone. She won the night. But tomorrow, the battle begins all over again. Now you get it. Tapestries are coats for the walls. Bed curtains are tents in the house. Dressing like a cabbage is science. And the tile stove is the terracotta heart. Now, a game for you. You have 5 items, 1 bundle of dry wood, 1 tapestry, 1 ceramic hot water jug, 1 large animal fur, 1 thick wool curtain. It's a force 9 blizzard, -7 degrees Celsius outside. How do you arrange them for a family of 3 to survive the night? Write your setup in the comments. I'll pin the smartest configuration. And if you want to continue, subscribe now. Next week, we'll unlock the secrets of a Roman bath that could stay hot all night without adding wood. Hit the bell so you don't miss the video where we reveal an ancient wall heating system so effective. If you installed it today, your neighbors would ask why the snow melts in front of your house first. Are you ready for another night in the castle? See you in the comments.